Okay, so get this. Listeners sent in questions about AI characters in a game planning a Valentine's Day party.
Wow.
And honestly, when I first heard it, I was like, no way, really? But it's true. And it's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to AI and gaming.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. We're talking about a Stanford project called Smallville, where they basically created a virtual world
Okay.
populated by these AI-driven characters. And these characters, or generative agents, as the researchers call them, are not your typical video game NPCs.
Right. They're not just running off of a script. They're actually thinking for themselves.
Exactly. They're powered by these things called large language models, or LLMs. Think ChatGPT, but given a virtual body and set loose in this case, a world that looks like something straight out of a classic 2D Zelda game.
So simple and charming on the surface, but with a whole lot of AI potential bubbling under the surface.
Precisely.
Okay, so walk me through this Valentine's Day thing again. How did that even happen? Did someone, slip in some code that said, on February 14th, throw a party?
That's the crazy part. No one programmed these AI characters to celebrate Valentine's Day. It just kind of emerged organically from their interactions.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying these AI characters just decided to have a Valentine's Day party all on their own?
In a way, yes. See, these AI agents, powered by those LLMs we talked about, they have the ability to remember.
Okay.
Every interaction, every decision they make, it's all logged in their memory.
So they're building up a history,
Yes.
a story, just like we do in our own lives.
Exactly. And as they have more experiences, they develop unique personalities and relationships with each other based on those experiences.
So it's like two AI characters who are constantly hanging out in the virtual world,
Right.
helping each other out with tasks, or maybe just having friendly chats, might suddenly decide, hey, it's Valentine's Day, let's do something together.
Exactly. And that's what's so mind-blowing about this. It wasn't programmed. It emerged organically from the way these AI characters interacted and the memories they had formed.
That's what's so fascinating about AI, isn't it? It's like we create these systems with certain rules and capabilities, and then we just kind of let them loose and see what happens.
And what we're seeing is that when you give AI the ability to learn and interact in a dynamic environment, you get what we call emergent behavior.
Emergent behavior.
Things happen that weren't explicitly programmed, but arise from the complex interactions of the system as a whole.
So in this case, a bunch of AI characters throwing a Valentine's Day party because they've learned that it's a thing that people do and they want to be a part of it.
Precisely. And this is where it gets really, really exciting for the future of gaming. Imagine a game world where you're not just following a pre-scripted narrative, but you're actually participating in an ever-evolving story shaped by AI characters who have memories, form relationships, and surprise you with their actions.
Okay, that gives me chills, and I love it. But let's get real for a second. How does this Smallville magic actually work? I mean, is it some super secret, hyper-advanced AI tech that only a team of geniuses at Stanford could even comprehend?
You might be surprised to hear this, but the building blocks of Smallville are becoming more and more accessible every day.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
So you're saying someone like me, and let's be honest, I'm more of a talk about tech kind of person than a build tech kind of person, could potentially take a crack at creating something like this.
You absolutely could. It's all about understanding the core components and how they fit together.
Okay, you've officially piqued my curiosity. Break it down for me. What would it actually take to build a world like Smallville? What are the essential ingredients?
Think of it this way. You could grab a game engine like Unity
Okay.
or Unreal Engine. These are like your world-building tools.
Right.
And then you'd combine those with a powerful AI model, like, say, GPT-4.
Okay.
And that would be like the brains behind your characters.
So we're not talking about coding some crazy AI from the ground up, more like using these pre-existing tools as building blocks.
Got it. Exactly. And when it comes to the memory part, you can almost think of it like giving each AI character a little digital diary.
A diary. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about these AI diaries.
So every time an AI character has an interaction, makes a decision, it all gets logged in their diary. And we actually use databases for this, which are basically like organized digital filing cabinets.
Databases, right. I've heard of those. But how does that translate to, say, one AI character deciding to surprise another with a Valentine's Day picnic?
Yeah.
It's not like we're writing code that says, if February 14th, then execute plan picnic function, are we?
No, not at all. We're not hard coding specific actions for every scenario. It's way more nuanced than that. What we're doing is establishing a framework and letting those AI brains guided by the LLMs, do their thing. Think of it like this. These AI agents are designed with this core drive to act on their relationships, especially within the context of events like holidays, and that includes Valentine's Day.
So in our Valentine's Day scenario, if an AI character has a history of positive interactions with another character come February, their AI might be like, Valentine's Day is approaching. This other character is pretty cool. Maybe I should do something nice.
You got it. And that's where those memories stored in their digital diaries come into play. Let's say, for example, that these two characters had previously bonded over, I don't know, watching a virtual sunset together.
Right, because even AI characters need a little digital romance.
Exactly. So the AI, remembering that shared experience, might then decide to plan this whole romantic picnic at sunset as a Valentine's Day surprise.
That's amazing. It almost makes you forget you're talking about lines of code and algorithms. But this whole thing sounds incredibly delicate, doesn't it? Like one wrong keystroke and the whole AI ecosystem goes haywire.
Well, there is a degree of fine-tuning involved, absolutely. We want to make sure those emergent properties, those spontaneous events we keep talking about, actually unfold in a way that makes sense.
So it's not about micromanaging every little detail, but more about creating the right conditions for these AI characters to, well, be themselves.
Exactly. We're trying to build a system where AI characters can learn, adapt, and, yeah, even surprise us with their creativity.
We're not just creating a game here, are we? It's more like we're creating a mini society of AI characters who can think, feel, and interact in ways that even we, the creators, might not fully anticipate. That's both exhilarating and, I'll be honest, a little terrifying.
100%. It's a brand new frontier, and just like any frontier, it comes with its own set of challenges and opportunities.
Speaking of opportunities,
Yeah.
we've been talking about a 2D world so far because, well, that was the setting for Smallville.
Right.
But what if we wanted to take this whole emergent AI storytelling to, let's say, the world of virtual reality?
Oh, wow.
What new possibilities and challenges would that open up? I mean,
Yeah.
what would that even look like?
Now we're talking about strapping on a VR headset and
Right.
stepping inside this world
Yeah.
instead of just watching it on a screen. And suddenly you're not just observing these AI characters, you're like face to face with them, having a conversation.
Having a conversation, exactly.
And that AI character remembers your last encounter.
Wow.
Maybe even makes a joke about that time you tripped and fell into a virtual pond or something.
Right. They've got your number. They remember your history.
Exactly.
That's wild.
Yeah, so that's the why it's so cool.
Okay, sold on the why. How about the how? What needs to change when we move from a 2D world like Smallville to VR?
Well, I mean, one of the biggest things is we're going from
Yeah.
observing AI to actually interacting with it directly.
Right.
It's one thing to type in commands or click buttons,
Mhm.
but in VR, we want to actually talk to these AI characters.
Okay.
So natural language processing becomes super important.
Right.
Your AI needs to be able to understand and respond to your spoken words in real time.
In real time, yeah.
And hey, while we're at it, why stop at just voice?
Right.
Imagine incorporating gesture recognition.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the AI can also pick up on your body language, your movements, your nonverbal cues.
So we're talking about a whole other level of complexity here.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we're not just dealing with AI that can process language, but AI that can understand and respond to our physical presence in a virtual space.
Yeah. And not just respond, but respond in a way that's consistent with its own personality,
Right.
its memories of past interactions, and its goals within the virtual world.
This is mind-blowing. But let's be real for a second.
Yeah.
All of this sounds incredibly complex and resource-intensive. We're talking about building persistent online worlds populated by these AI characters that are constantly learning and evolving.
Right.
And now we're adding real-time interaction in VR.
Yeah. And that interaction has to feel natural.
Yes.
It can't be clunky or robotic. It needs to flow.
It has to feel real.
Exactly.
This has to be one of the most challenging frontiers in game development, right?
For sure. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. But, what seems impossible today often becomes commonplace tomorrow.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, think about it. Just a few years ago,
Yeah.
the idea of AI characters throwing a spontaneous Valentine's Day party in a video game,
Right.
that sounded like pure science fiction.
It did.
And now here we are breaking down how to actually make it a reality.
It really puts things into perspective. So it sounds like we've covered a lot of ground here. From the unexpected social lives of AI characters in a simple 2D world to the mind-blowing potential of creating truly immersive, interactive VR experiences powered by artificial intelligence.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
I know, right? Feel like we're on the verge of a whole new era of gaming.
We are. It's an exciting time to be involved in this field.
It really is. So to all our listeners out there, we leave you with this thought. Keep dreaming, keep innovating, and most importantly, keep asking those what-if questions.
Yes.
Because those are the questions that lead to the breakthroughs, the innovations that push the boundaries of what's possible.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Until next time.